everybody. Welcome back to Cast 11. I'm Alicia with F1RST2KNOW, and I am joined today with Gulliver and Christine, and I'm going to say it, Parascandolo.
Parascandolo, if you're Italian.
Parascandolo. There we go. Just should have brought me some spaghetti. I would have really had it down.
Exactly.
So you guys are the owners of Parallel Media, founders of the Youth Film Program, which I got to kind of witness firsthand. So that was awesome. Tell me a little bit about what you guys do.
Well, in January of 2025, we began this program where we had 25 students, and we produced 6 films where we took, students who were 9 to 17, and we had them pitch, write, shoot, and edit their own original films. And that all culminated into a big red carpet event right here in Prescott Valley at Harkins Theatre, which was a nearly sold out event. And what I think these students accomplished was really incredible. In fact, we brought along a clip showcasing some highlights from the 6 films that we produced from our first season.
As you say very proudly, and I'm sure you guys are very proud of this project. Let's take a look.
Let's go save the galaxy. What should I wear for picture day? You want me to take your picture with my snack?
It really makes you think outside the box. What do you add with a banana? That's the real challenge.
I'm a bit hungry, that's all I can say. Okay.
Flying through the memories, letting the past take over me. This land doesn't have a speed limit. Be back then for just a minute.
In a magical world far, far away.
Why do you guys look like that? You know where the closest magical portal is? Cause we need to get back home.
To get back to their world, they'll have to save ours.
Wow. That is what I loved most about how you talked about it is you made them pitch. So they had to come up with the idea, and then it turned into something so amazing. So you have literally from beginning, from idea to the final product, they had to sell you on the idea. Were there ideas that you guys nixed? Were there some? Or?
Well, just by virtue of having 25
Mm-hmm.
students, we heard 25, original,
Mm-hmm.
exciting, and creative ideas. But we treat the program very much like a studio.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a real world environment
Mm-hmm.
for these students who come in, and just like a movie studio, you can't produce every idea that comes in. So
Mm-hmm.
when we greenlit the films that we did, there were certain logistics that we had to think about, how we could shoot them and, how possible they were to shoot. But also we wanted to make sure that there was a variety of genres of films, because there was, certain students that wanted to do something sci-fi and actiony.
Mm-hmm.
There were certain students who, had this, wanted to do magical, fairy tale stories, and some others, who had sort of a, detective, a little bit of a kind of, more darker, stories. But so we wanted to make sure that after hearing all the pitches, that we picked ideas that everyone would be interested in producing.
That's perfect. That's what, and you can see just by what ended up at the theater was just such a great blend. And what did you see from like the pitch? What changes did you see in these kids from like beginning to end?
I would say we saw some major changes, a lot of confidence building. For example, we had some students that came into the program saying, "Oh, I don't want to be on front of the camera. I just want to be behind. I just want to do editing." And then because it's such a comfortable, low stress environment, they saw that, wait a minute, these actors are having a good time on camera. Maybe I can try it. And what we would find is that some of them actually that wanted to be behind the camera ended up finishing the season as some of like the star, actors. And it was like, you saw that confidence change, and they got, comfortable and they got to try different roles, which is so fun in the program. You can come in and say, I want to be a sound engineer, but then you can realize that, I want to do costume design or set design or editing or, special effects. And they can do a little bit of all of that in this environment, which is what we're trying to do. We're fostering a learning environment where you can just be as hands-on as possible and just get your hands into every aspect of filmmaking.
Well, and the thing I love most about theater is when you walk through the door, everything that you are outside of that room is gone. Like you're basically you come in and we're all equals here. We're all, it is such a just nurturing, supportive environment. I've sat down with quite a few people that, do theater, and the kids that are involved with theater, and just to watch that. I mean, yeah, it takes a lot of courage to walk through that door, but once they're there, it's like, these are my people.
Yes.
This is our world now.
Yes.
And so I love that it's just equal, whether you're the football star, the cheerleader, the whatever.
Right.
In theater, you're theater. So I love that you saw that, I'm a behind the snes guy, and now I want to be the superhero. So that's very cool.
And what was actually really fun too is almost sort of the opposite of that. A lot of the students came into the program wanting to be actors, right? That's sort of
of course, right?
The thing that you see on screen. That's what that's what you're drawn to. But then, as the process continued, they were very interested in learning how the cameras work and wanting to be very involved in the editing process. And so as as they came in, we found a lot of people, looking at the entire scope of what it takes to make a film. And a lot of our students did come from a theatrical theater background. In fact, I was a theater kid. back in the day. And filmmaking is one of those things that it's a collaborative art. It's hard to make a movie by yourself. It's not impossible.
We've seen it done, right? But yeah.
But it is something where it takes planning, it takes rehearsing, it takes, coordination, and, on a film set, there's a rhythm to, getting, finding where everyone's going to stand, where the cameras are going to be. The director yells, "Okay, roll cameras." The camera people say, "Rolling." Someone comes in with the slate, scene one, take one, and action. All right. You act for that minute or so and then cut. Right. And then, okay, let's do it all again.
Do it again.
And that is sort of a discipline, that once you kind of get comfortable with is, becomes second nature. But what was so great about having, a town that has a lot of exposure to theater and performing arts is we found a lot of our students were really up for that challenge and to take filmmaking seriously while still having fun with the process.
So this was the first time you did this? Was it the first one of the big gala and all of that?
Last year. Well,
yeah. Well, I think we
starting January, and then it culminated in May. So it's 5 months.
So are we doing it again?
Oh, so absolutely. So, so after our big red carpet event, which you were amazing enough to be there,
loved it.
We actually invited members from the Prescott Film Festival to come and be our special guests. And immediately after the screening, 4 of the 6 films got invited to be in the Prescott Film Festival. So
wow.
So right after that, our students were back on the main stage, being interviewed, by the local newspapers and by the, the film community here in Prescott. And, everyone was saying, "You guys, you have to do it again." So this was something that we were so excited to see the success of, that we've now made some incredible strides towards the 2026 season, which will be starting in January.
Perfect. Well, and those kids going through the whole process from the pitch to like, man, I had a great idea last year, but it didn't get picked up. I know the perfect pitch that I'm going to give. So I bet you those kids have been working for the last at least 6 months, figuring out this is how I'm going to redo it. I've got the plan. So.
Well, and it'll be even easier to bring their ideas to life in our new location, which is downtown, in the heart of downtown, where we will have access to so many wonderful locations that we can just walk to. We are fortunate enough to be in the basement of the Natural History Institute building, which is awesome. Just an iconic, beautiful spot downtown. And we are just so thrilled to be a part of the heart of downtown, and it's going to really add to these projects.
I mean, there's just around every corner, there's an amazing place to film something. And how does the city of Prescott react to that? They're pretty open to that. Do you have to go through anything crazy?
We have just been we've just been blessed by all the support that this community has offered from our first year being hosted by the Movement Studio in Prescott Valley.
Amazing.
To being invited to shoot in some local restaurants like a Carlito's Cafe. And then, of course, being able to showcase some amazing Prescott locations like the Courthouse Square and Watson Lake.
Well, after what you did to it last time, I don't know that they're going to invite you back. You did save it, so it's
we
good.
did.
Right. We didn't let that kaiju destroy the courthouse this year.
Right.
But I think that's been just so wonderful. In fact, just the fact that we're in this new space and that we've been given the encouragement of the filmmaking community here in Prescott. I expect this next year to be even more amazing because of the support of the community here, and of course the amazing creativity that comes with it from all of our students.
Well, and you learn, right? The first year is such a, you're so fortunate to have it turn out the way it did. Imagine now knowing everything that you know from last time and being able to, and the kids knowing everything that they went through last time and just making it even better. Do you cap it at 25 kids, or they're allowed to do more? Or?
Well, we are expanding the program. So last year we had one day on the weekday, and then we would do some Saturday productions. This year, starting in January, we're expanding to 2 separate weekday classes on Tuesdays and Fridays from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. With occasional Saturday filming still sprinkled in there. But that basically opens it up so we can have more students. We also have more equipment now. We have brand new computers, and we've just really expanded. This space has really allowed us to expand the program too.
And how do we get our kids involved?
Well, if you go to parallelmediastudio.com/youth film program,
perfect,
you'll be able to apply for the 2026 season, as well as watch all of the student films that we produced in our first year and see an amazing behind the scenes look at our first season, to see, and hear from the students their experience and how much fun they had. And another big factor, I think, in this next year is going to be our support from our one of our biggest sponsors, which is Big Films. And they are a visual effects company, as you might have seen.
There's some pretty cool visual effects.
Yes.
In the films, spaceships, lasers, monsters, robots. When we first started greenlighting these pitches, we knew we were up for a challenge. And there was a sort of a balance we were trying to make with how much could we teach in the time that we had, and then of course what would be possible. And we reached out to Big Films, which is a Hollywood special effects company. They produce these visual effects elements, like a catalog, like if you want an explosion in your movie, that you could scroll through a catalog of
That's great.
40 explosions and then drag and drop it right onto your footage. And, with some basic editing knowledge, you can create some incredible results. And they continue to provide, Big Films supplied our school, after learning about what we were doing, with over 15,000 visual effects elements that are available for our students to use for the life of the program.
That's amazing.
And so we were really able to sort of throw gasoline on these kids' imaginations and really make what they had in mind possible. And this next year, I think, we're going to go even further than that.
So unfortunately, my age is not within the bracket. Barely missed it. How else can I get in front of you guys? What is available to someone that is a little older than, that child age? What do you got?
Well, that's, this is a program that we're hoping to expand, probably for this first or for the next semester, for the community members who are interested in filmmaking or have experience in filmmaking. We are looking for, mentors to come in, help out with the film productions, come into the studio, sort of, help, guide and chaperone and, assist in these productions. So, we are looking for the community's support in that way as well. So if you're...
Because think of our community. I mean, there's people out there that have so much knowledge that they would just love an avenue to be able to share that with the kids. But you're also at Yavapai College too, right?
I am also a professor at Yavapai College. I'm teaching the fundamentals of video editing, and I've been able to meet a lot of fine people there who are interested in this program. And, we're opening up our studio for college interns to also be involved in this program. And,
That's great.
we'll be doing some very sophisticated things, some very advanced things this year. We're hoping to get into some virtual production where we can do real-time 3D green screen environments. We'll be, implementing some new visual effects tools, using some new AI tools to enhance sort of the productions, and push what we can do even further, while of course, still integrating all the wonderful fundamentals of video production. And we also have, some students who are interested in doing animation this year. So there's going to be a lot to learn, a lot to experiment with. And for, students or film professionals who volunteer their time to help us out with these things, they're going to get a leg up and learn these things as well.
That's awesome. By the time they're old enough to be doing, and with AI integration, these kids are going to be unstoppable. So
yeah, and I think teaching the students that we live in a world where we some people just want to ignore AI and pretend it's not going to happen, but instead we can use it as a tool, and we can still teach these students the fundamentals of video production and video editing and special effects. But using these tools, and of course having a partner like Big Films, it just makes so much more possible in the small amount of time we do have with these students. This is an after-school program. We do hope that they take a lot of this home with them. Yeah. And that's why we do use software that is essentially free, and they can download it at home. And, we're trying to make this as easy as possible for them to want to do this outside of this program as well.
But also knowing the roots and where it came from, the guy behind the camera, and before AI and
right. There's still, I think, the fundamentals of telling a story, of imagining something that you connect with from your personal experience, and then having a group of people add their creative input onto a project. I think it makes everything greater than the sum of its parts. And, there is the fear that AI will make all that go away. But, to be honest, I think, being exposed to some of these tools while also, really having these, a grasp of what telling a good story is ultimately going to make whatever these students produce in the future, whatever tools come out in the future, all the better.
Well, and I think as viewers, and we still want a good story. We still want, you can get books on tape now. You can get books on your phone, whatever you want. But everybody still wants to hold a book. Not everybody, but a lot of people still want to hold that book. And I think that's the same with filmmaking. It's going to get so sophisticated, but we're always going to yearn for that. Just
the human element is strong.
And I think that a lot of people learn filmmaking these days on YouTube, online, or at least they learn about the filmmaking process. I'm still of the mind that you don't really learn how to make films until you're actually making it.
Yeah.
And that's why we really wanted to treat our program like a studio. They've all, like you just got hired at a real movie studio, and it's the experience, you should expect if you do get hired in a media production studio, maybe like Talking Glass Media in the future, or but we also are dedicated to teaching these kids entrepreneurial skills as well. I think unlike a lot of visual arts, video production is something that is integrated so much into our lives, and whatever career paths that these students eventually find themselves in, they're going to have to be able to be video literate. They're most likely going to have to produce or be involved in a production of some sort of marketing material or communications or commercial production to make whatever they're doing succeed. It's almost like if there's not a video of it in this modern age, it doesn't exist.
It didn't happen. Well, but also the confidence that you're building in these kids. I, got to interview them at the red carpet, and just watching them interact with each other, and then, hey, do you mind if I interview you for a few minutes? And they're just, of course, they're just, they're ready. And, and in life, you have to take direction, and you have to, sometimes be the star and sometimes be the understudy in somebody else's, play or whatever. So I think just the basic skills that you're giving them just to, just for life, just to be those roles.
I think another one of our goals too was to kind of get people thinking about telling their stories, creating something original. As a theater, actor, or an actor in just about anything, you're always given that script. You say, you get cast in whatever role someone else thinks that you should be in, telling a story that someone else wrote about, something you might not know anything about. So what we really encourage our students to do is to, bring the stories to life that matter to them, right? We don't, we've all been getting our movies and stories from, other places, from Hollywood, all these years. And I think, if you kind of look at, the trends in sort of what's succeeding in the movie industry and what's not, I think you'll find that, people are hungry for more original stories. They want, new people to look up to. They want to have role models on screen that, inspire and entertain as well. And I think, the world needs a little more of what Prescott has to offer in terms of, those things.
Well, and I personally thank you for bringing that to our community and fostering these kids. I think it's just such an amazing experience, and just, seeing them out there and then getting to watch their movies, amazing. So Gulliver and Christine, and you guys owners again of Parallel Media, founders of the Youth Film Program. Tell me one more time how we get our kids involved if we want to join this amazing venture that you guys are doing.
All the information and the application can be found at parallelmediastudio.com/youthfilmprogram.
I think when any parent is looking at what a child's interest is, but whether it be drawing or writing, and these early sort of fundamental expressions of art, dance, there's so many things, but I think filmmaking is one of those things that I think if the earlier you get involved in, the bigger potential you have to be successful in it. Steven Spielberg in Phoenix, Arizona, was making films when he was 14 with his friends. He made his first feature film when he was 17. And, look where he went today, with being able to have a little bit of encouragement, some equipment, and friends and colleagues to help make it all happen. And that's exactly what we're providing for the community here, is that early chance to get involved in an interest that you have and be able to dive in at the highest level using professional equipment and being mentored by award-winning filmmakers to guide on that journey.
Well, and I think it's such a good point, because if I think so many parents get in that, oh, my kid's going to be a football star, baseball star, or, and it's you've got a kid that comes to you and says, I want to make films, what do we do with that as parents? It's like, oh, I don't even know where to get started. And
we're just starting a lot of programs.
Yeah. Just wait till you get older. Like with anything, if you want them to be successful, or if you want to, to foster that in them, they have programs like what you guys are doing. So,
and when I remember the last day of our first season, we were all waiting, to premiere these films at Harkins Theatre, and really as a filmmaker, that's when it becomes real. So when you're sitting in the movie theater, seeing your work on the 4K
and
screen,
hearing the laughter
the
the
laughs,
time, or the
hearing
audience
gasps,
reactions. Yeah.
On the last day, I told the students, like, you guys are at a point where most, filmmakers begin their journey. That where you were 6 months ago is where most filmmakers in college are starting. So by going through this program, making your first movies, and not, everyone made, focused on one film, but everyone worked on all the films. And so, each one of those kids had 6 films under their belt before they were, 17 years old, when they were 9 years old, some of them. And I think that pride, is something that can't be understated, but also, when they do eventually go into college, or they want to go to film school, they are going to be able to elevate those programs and, the films that come out of there, with the resources that they'll have later in life, with the knowledge that they have, doing films at an early age.
Well, and they were so proud of that too. When I was interviewing them, I was like, oh yeah, I starred in this one, and I actually, was co-producer on this one, and I did costume design over here. So just having that opportunity to dabble in a little of everything was just amazing. So.
Yeah, it's also great if, we had 25 students at any given time. So if a scene needed, 24 extras, we could rally the whole class. All right, guys, we're all going to shoot this scene today. So you have 24 extras in your movie, or
and we're on location. Let's go.
Yeah,
right.
We pulled in plenty of parents as well.
Oh yes,
filmmaking is really a family effort, and it takes.
And the parents were so proud. And just so excited.
Yeah, I think, it's obviously one of those arts, and just like theater or dance or sports, where, parents are going to have to, be a part of that journey. And I think, all the parents that we had involved had a ton of fun.
They did.
And it's an experience they'll never be able to forget. And they have it permanently there on video to have this as a record, or, maybe they'll send off these videos to a talent agent one day, or, students who want to be actors. They're going to have that video portfolio to send off, and
definitely enhancing their resume, right?
Absolutely.
This is great.
Yes.
So, and you think of these things, you think of Hollywood, you don't think of, little Prescott. So again, thank you guys so much for doing this for the community, and taking care of our kids, and getting them to, getting them outside those video games, getting them onto living and doing, pursuing their passions.
And showing them that their voices are worth hearing. We want to hear their stories. So that's important for their self-esteem too.
Absolutely. Well, Gulliver and Christine, thank you so much for what you guys do, and get your kids signed up. You won't regret it.
Thank you so much.
you.
You're welcome.